Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Today's session is where we are going to talk about different roles of a manager. So there are certain roles and responsibilities that every manager carries in the organization. And these roles and responsibilities are amazingly explained by Mitzberg's sets of these roles. He's an amazing management skill person who trains people on management level, and he has these formulas of these 10 different roles which are amazingly important and necessary for any organization to work with the correct manager in place. Every organization has three primary interpersonal roles that are concerned with interpersonal relationships. Managers in the fingerhead role. So there are different roles. We are talking about the fingerhead role. Especially managers in the fingerhead role represents the organization in the matter of formality. The top level managers represents the company legally and socially to the outside world and within the organization itself for interaction. In the superior role, the manager represents his team to the entire management. So he's a person who represents his team to the higher management. So I would say he's a mediator between the top management and between his team. So he works as a license or the responsible person between the entire top management and the team. He always maintains contacts with his peers who are outside the organization as well. In traditional management or some years before, what used to happen is there used to be certain decisions that the higher management used to give to the manager, and the manager used to trespass it to the entire team, and that had to be followed, and that's how the goal was set. Now in the contemporary management, things have changed. The higher management have left certain responsibility to the managers to take certain decisions. So the top management definitely depends on the manager for certain decisions that a manager would take, which he would then go and communicate to the top management. And once they are said okay, or once they are approved, these sets of decisions would then go to his team, and the team would start following it for better prospects. So there is a huge change in so many years on the way that management has started thinking about the entire thing. People have now started understanding that there are a lot of good managers who can actually make wonders, and that's why people look at these kind of managers as the sole asset of the organization. Professor Henry Mitzberg, a great management researcher, after studying managers for n number of years, has now come up to a conclusion that to meet many demands of performing the functions which are levied on managers, managers assume multiple roles. So there are a lot of roles and responsibilities that managers go through. He pronounced that the role is the set organizations and behavior. So these roles are indirectly responsible to set a discipline or organized way of behavior towards the organization. He identified the following 10 rules or 10 common rules which everyone needs to work along with the manager. These roles have been split into three different groups. Let's see what are the three different groups, and let's see what are these exact roles which definitely takes the organization to a different level by all the managers following them. So if you see on the screen, you will come to know that there are three different compartments or departments that we are talking about. Each one has some say to go. The first one is interpersonal responsibilities. So when we talk about interpersonal responsibilities, this is where the manager is responsible for his interaction not only with the organization but also outside the organization with the peer. He acts as a license between the top management and the staff. So what he needs, what are the different roles that he follows in the first session is fingerhead, leader, and license. If we go to the next level, of course I'll be doing this in detail. Let's just take you through the entire diagram. The next would be informational responsibilities. So these are some sets of responsibilities, roles which come under information is monitor, disseminator, spokesperson. Now these are again some sets of roles which he needs to follow. We will discuss it in detail. And the last but not the least is decisional. Now, when we definitely say decisional, this is something which are different roles, are responsibilities a manager needs to put in his daily working, where he is held responsible and accountable for his decisions. So if you see the roles: entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. Now, if you see the entire diagram, the first phase of interpersonal responsibility or interpersonal role entirely is something that provides information. So this, by working this way, he provides information. The informational category talks about processing those information. So information is passed out and then it is processed by the next level of responsibility. And the third is decisional, where now this information is actually used and entirely then comes to a feedback which the customer might give, or anyone who looks at it out of the box might give. This is how very beautifully Mr. Mintzberg has helped us with arranging various roles and responsibilities of a manager in an organization. Let's move ahead with these sub-points in details. So when we talk about manager, a manager should be an interpersonal person, which means he has to be a figurehead. When I say figurehead, it talks about he has to be very social, ceremonial, and legal, who can handle all these responsibilities. So a person who is completely always into interaction and who needs to get things done by being an extremely interpersonal person has to be very good with his social skills, ceremonial skills, and legal responsibilities. At the same time, he also has to be a best leader where the entire staff would respect him. So as a leader, he would provide leadership and direction. So manager with amazing interpersonal roles, always remember, is a person who provides information. He has to definitely take care of a lot of interactions that happens with his team, his peers outside the organization, and people at the higher management. So being a figurehead, he is a person who we are looking at a person who is responsible in his duties as social person, ceremonial person, and legal responsibilities. He's the one who can handle all these things really well at the social level. He has to be an amazing leader with amazing leadership skills and command over his direction. Now, if he is a good interpersonal person and he is a person who can provide good information and with the flow, people would respect him and like him being the leader and definitely takes his direction very positively. At the same time, he is also responsible as an interpersonal relation. He is also responsible to be licensed. A person who networks and communicates with internal and external people, contacts in the organization and outside the organization as well. So these are the three different kinds of abilities, very unique, which can be covered up in the interpersonal role of a manager that he has to conduct. The second main bracket of the responsibility or the role of manager would be informational role. Now we look at the manager as an amazing information person who can then not only take or provide information, also process information. To process the information, there are three different skills which are very necessary for an organization to have as an ability. First is a monitor. Monitor would be, every manager has to be an amazing monitor who seeks the outside information related to his organization and industry and monitors internal teams in the terms of both the productivity and well-being. So it's all the information that he gets from outside as a monitor, conveys it to his people and then start working on it for progress. The next bracket of the informational role of a manager would be semitator. A semitator communicates potentially useful information internally. So whatever is the useful information, he is able to communicate very clearly. So a person who is amazingly clear at his communication level and who is very transparent and puts the thing right in right place. So this team of such a manager would never ever suffer with miscommunication or a communication gap. The third important role in this category is also a spokesperson. A manager who can communicate very well, so who is a very good communicator and even a public speaker, I would say, who would help to represent and speak about his organization and brand and transmit information about the organization to the people to achieve the goals in the organization and also outside the organization to announce and advertise for his own brand. A manager actually can be the best brand ambassador for his brand. So these are various roles and responsibilities that we can cover in the category of informational role. So at the interpersonal level, where the information is provided, this is the level where the information is now processed. Let's move on to the next bracket of roles. The next bracket of the role and responsibility of a manager is decisional role. Now there are various responsibilities in the decisional role also that a manager goes through. Is entrepreneur. Every manager needs to be an amazing entrepreneur with amazing entrepreneur skills. Now, these are the skills which creates and control the changes within the organization, solving problems, generating new ideas, and implementing them. So a person is not only an amazing decision maker, he is also a person who is very creative at problem solving. He is also very amazing at generating new ideas out of it. He is amazing at conflict resolution. At the same time, he is amazing at also implementing them. Entrepreneurs' qualities are something which can lead your business to the high level. This is the time when the people actually would forget who's the bosses. The managers would treat the entire staff would treat the managers as the bosses of the brand. Disturbance handler. Now, there are a lot of disturbance and there are a lot of hurdles that every manager needs to face while they are moving ahead towards productivity, along with the owners or along with the brand holders. Someone who can resolve these issues and manages unexpected roadblockers are an amazing manager skills. Now, this is a person who can help handle any kind of turbulence, any kind of disturbance caused in that organization. Also, keeping the organization quite stagnant with the management and the staff, and he being the best person as a problem solver within. Along with disturbance handler, he also needs to be a resource allocator. Now, a resource allocator basically is someone who allocates the correct resources to the correct people to take it to the next level. Resources such as funds, assigning staff, and other organizational resources. This helps the organization to work well the way it is decided to, or the way it was supposed to. A person who can handle this, who is a best resource allocator, is a person who can handle all the decision role. So this is a major decision role that he takes of whom to handle or whom to give the responsibility to let the resources be handled. Along with it also, he has to be an amazing negotiator. Negotiator doesn't really mean negotiating with funds. It means that he is a person who brings situations to a win-win approach. He doesn't only act as a negotiator with the organization and outside organizations or customers. He is a person who also is an amazing negotiator with his team, with the department, with the organization. So negotiation skills are something which are unique, and not many people are very good at it. People who understand the win-win approach only can handle these negotiation skills. So all these 4 unique and strong abilities, if a manager has, he would be an amazing decisional person, a person who can make amazing decisions for the organization. So these are the various decisional roles that a manager should play. I hope I've made clear of all the 10 different roles and responsibilities that every manager should have. So if you see, the flows goes from providing information to processing it and finally utilizing it. At the end of the day, what comes out is the feedback. Whether it would be negative or positive depends on the flow of the entire role of the manager. So a manager, you can imagine, is the most sensitive person in the organization. Every organization needs to have the correct manager, and it's very important to hire the correct one who can follow all these roles and responsibilities very well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned to this channel and keep subscribing to Ekeeda. Thank you.